A decorated karate master dismisses a quiet black girl as too fragile for his elite dojo. When she's humiliated in front of everyone, no one expects her to return. But she does, with a secret strength forged in silence. And when she faces the dojo's legendary unbreakable board, the truth shatters more than wood. The River Stone Dojo smells like sweat and polished wood. Fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting harsh shadows across the training floor. 40 students stand in perfect rows, their white gis crisp and identical. At the front, Sensei Tanaka holds a broken board, jagged splinters hanging from the center like broken teeth. His eyes scan the room and land on Maya. She stands in the back row, smaller than the others, her hands still trembling from the failed strike. The board she couldn't break lies at her feet like evidence. This art, Tanaka says slowly, his voice carrying across the silent dojo, requires strength you do not possess. No one moves. No one breathes. Maya's chest tightens. The other students stare straight ahead, but she feels their judgment pressing against her skin. Tanaka steps closer. His footsteps echo. Karate is not for the weak. It is not for those who hope. It is for those who are. He drops the broken board at her feet. The sound cracks through the silence. Perhaps, he says, turning away, you should try something more suited to your disposition. A ripple of laughter spreads through the class, quiet at first, then louder. Maya's face burns. Her vision blurs at the edges, but she doesn't cry. She won't give them that. In her clenched fist, something else builds, something quiet and dangerous, something that doesn't break. Hey, where are you from? Drop your country in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for part 2. 3 weeks earlier, Maya Martinez walked into River Stone Dojo carrying a worn duffel bag and a folded piece of paper with the address. The building sat between a laundromat and a convenience store, its sign weathered but proud. She'd passed it every day on her way home from school, watching through the window as students moved in synchronized patterns. She never planned to join. Karate was something she watched on YouTube at 2 a.m. when sleep wouldn't come, something that lived in her phone screen, not her life. But her mother had noticed the videos, noticed Maya's restlessness. You need something, she'd said one morning before her double shift at County General. Something that's yours. She'd left $40 on the kitchen counter, registration fee money she couldn't afford. So Maya came, 15 years old, new to the neighborhood, carrying her father's memory like a stone in her chest. He'd been a Marine combat instructor before Afghanistan, before the flag ceremony, before the silence that followed. Inside the dojo, students practiced strikes against padded targets. Their movements were sharp and confident. Maya stood in the doorway, her duffel bag heavy on her shoulder, and wondered if she belonged anywhere at all. A senior student noticed her. First class is free, he said, nodding toward the locker room. Gi rental is $5. Maya paid. She changed into the white uniform that smelled like industrial detergent. In the mirror, she looked smaller than she felt. Her dark skin stood out against the stark white fabric. She pulled her hair into a tight bun and walked onto the training floor. Sensei Tanaka stood at the center, arms crossed, watching new students file in. His gaze passed over Maya without pause, without recognition. She was just another face, another beginner. She didn't know then that invisibility was temporary, that being seen could be worse. The first class ended with a strength assessment. Tanaka explained it was tradition, a way to measure raw potential before technique clouded the picture. He lined up 6 boards against the wall, each one identical, 12 inches of pine, half an inch thick. Strike with intent, he instructed, not hope, intent. One by one, students stepped forward. A stocky boy with red hair broke his board clean through. The crack echoed. Tanaka nodded. A tall girl with blonde braids shattered hers on the first attempt. Applause followed. Maya watched their technique, the way they pivoted, the snap in their hips, the exhale timed with impact. She memorized the pattern. When Tanaka called her name, she stepped forward. He handed her a board, but this one was different, thinner, lighter. The other students had already noticed. A few exchanged glances. Let's start simple, Tanaka said. His tone was neutral, but his eyes weren't. Maya held the board between 2 cinder blocks, the way she'd seen others do. She positioned her hand, exhaled, and struck. The board flexed. It absorbed the impact like a sponge, but it didn't break. Silence fell. Maya's hand throbbed. She repositioned, struck again. The board bent, creaked, but held. Enough, Tanaka said, taking the board from her. You lack the necessary, he paused, choosing his words carefully, foundation. Behind her someone snickered, then another. The sound spread like wildfire crackling through the class. Maya's ears burned, her vision tunneled. Perhaps, Tanaka continued, his voice cutting through the laughter, you should try ballet or yoga, something less demanding. The dojo erupted. Not malicious laughter, just the easy cruelty of people who have never been on the other side of the joke. Maya stood frozen, the thin practice board still in her hands, her failure hanging in the air like smoke. Tanaka turned away, class dismissed. Maya was already gone. The locker room smells like mildew and cheap soap. Maya sits on the wooden bench, staring at her reddened knuckles. Outside, the advanced class begins, sharp kiai shouts punctuating the rhythm of strikes. Inside, there's only her breathing and the hum of the fluorescent light above. Her phone buzzes, a text from her mother, how was it? Maya types 3 letters, fine, then deletes them. She leaves the message unanswered. The thin board, the laughter, Tanaka's dismissive tone. Each memory loops through her mind like a broken film reel. She replays the moment her hand connected with the wood, the way it flexed but didn't yield. She'd done everything the others did, but it wasn't enough. A voice echoes from somewhere distant, wrapped in the soft Texas drawl her father used when he taught her to ride a bike, to throw a punch, to breathe through fear. Strength isn't loud, Maya. It's patient. She closes her eyes, her father's hands guiding hers into proper fists. His voice, steady and sure. You don't break things by forcing them. You break them by believing they're already broken. The board didn't break today, but neither did she. Maya opens her duffel bag. Inside, beneath her street clothes, is the folded flag from her father's funeral. She touches it once, a ritual, a reminder. Then she stands, changes back into her jeans and hoodie and walks out of River Stone Dojo. She doesn't look back, but she doesn't throw away the registration form either. 10 years ago, Maya's father taught hand-to-hand combat at Camp Pendleton. Staff Sergeant David Martinez was known for his precision, his patience, his ability to teach Marines how to control chaos. At home, he taught Maya the same way, not with force but with focus. She was 5 when he first showed her a proper stance. They practiced in the backyard while her mother watched from the kitchen window, shaking her head and smiling. You're making a warrior, she'd said. David had laughed. I'm teaching her balance. Balance, breathing, the space between action and reaction. He never raised his voice, never showed frustration. When Maya got angry, when kids at school teased her when she felt small, he'd sit with her in silence first. Then he'd say, what do you control right now? Her breath, her thoughts, her next choice. He deployed when she was 8, came home for 2 weeks when she was 9, deployed again when she was 10. The third deployment, he didn't come home at all. The funeral was a blur of uniforms and flags and words like honor and sacrifice. Maya remembered the rifle salute, the way the sound cracked through the cemetery. She remembered her mother's hand, trembling in hers. She remembered the weight of the folded flag when they placed it in her mother's arms. After that, Maya stopped training, stopped practicing the breathing exercises, the stances, the quiet discipline her father had taught her. It hurt too much to remember, easier to let it fade. Her mother worked 2 jobs to keep them afloat, day shifts at the hospital, night shifts cleaning offices. They moved 3 times in 4 years, chasing cheaper rent. Maya learned to be invisible, to take up less space, to expect nothing. Until River Stone Dojo. Until she thought maybe she could reclaim something her father left behind. Until Sensei Tanaka reminded her that some spaces aren't meant for girls like her. 2 weeks pass. Maya doesn't return to the dojo, but she can't stop thinking about it, about the board, about the laughter, about Tanaka's eyes when he dismissed her, not angry, just indifferent, like she didn't even register as a challenge. On a Friday night, her mother works a double. The apartment is empty except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic. Maya does her homework, scrolls through her phone, tries to sleep. At 11 p.m., she gives up. She pulls on her hoodie and walks the 6 blocks to River Stone Dojo. The lights are off. The door is locked, but the side window, the one near the locker room, is cracked open for ventilation. Maya hesitates, then climbs through. Inside, the dojo is dark and still. Moonlight filters through the front windows, casting long shadows across the training floor. She moves quietly, her sneakers silent on the polished wood. At the far end of the room, past the heavy bags and practice dummies, is a door marked Advanced Training. It's unlocked. The room is smaller, more private. Equipment lines the walls, focus mitts, striking shields, weight vests. And mounted on the far wall, lit by a single overhead spotlight, is a board unlike any she's seen before. It's darker, denser. The wood grain is tight and smooth, almost black. A brass plaque beneath it reads, Ironwood Board, unbroken since 1987. Maya steps closer. The board is 2 inches thick, reinforced at the edges with metal brackets. She touches it. The surface is cool and impossibly hard. 37 years, hundreds of students. No one has broken it. Her father's voice rises again, clearer this time. The board doesn't break because you hit hard, Maya. It breaks because you believe it's already broken before you touch it. She stands there for a long time, hand pressed against the ironwood, feeling its weight, its history. Then she makes a silent vow. She will return, she will train, and when she's ready, she will break this board. Not for Tanaka, not for the students who laughed, for herself, for the girl who refuses to stay invisible. Monday morning, Maya walks into River Stone Dojo with her duffel bag and her registration form. Tanaka is setting up for the beginner class. When he sees her, his expression shifts, surprise, then annoyance, then something colder. I thought we established this wasn't for you, he says. I paid for a month, Maya replies, her voice is steady. I'm staying for a month. Tanaka studies her for a long moment, then he shrugs, your money. The class begins. This time Maya doesn't stand in the back. She positions herself in the middle row where Tanaka can't ignore her. She follows every instruction precisely, stance, breathing, movement. When they practice strikes, she focuses on form over power. Slow, controlled, intentional. At the end of class, Tanaka announces another board-breaking exercise. Voluntary, he says, for those who want to measure progress. Several students step forward. Maya waits until last. Tanaka hands her a standard board, not the thin one from before, but not the thickest either. A test. She positions it between the cinder blocks. The dojo quiets. She feels the weight of eyes on her back. She doesn't rush. She breathes, roots her stance, visualizes the break. Then she strikes. The board cracks. Not clean, it splinters unevenly, one half hanging by fibers, but it breaks. The room stirs. Whispers ripple through the students. Maya steps back, her hand throbbing but victorious. Tanaka examines the broken board. His expression is unreadable. Finally, he nods. Adequate, he says. His tone is neutral, dismissive, but his eyes linger on her a moment longer than necessary. Maya bows and returns to her spot. She knows what just happened. She's no longer invisible. She's interesting. And in Tanaka's dojo, that's far more dangerous. 4 weeks pass. Maya attends every class. She arrives early, stays late, practices at home until her knuckles bruise. Her technique sharpens. Her strikes gain precision. But Tanaka never acknowledges her. He corrects other students, offers praise, demonstrates advanced forms. But when his gaze lands on Maya, it slides past like she's glass. She doesn't need his approval. She reminds herself of that every day. Then comes the announcement. A Friday afternoon, 1 week before the regional tournament demonstration. Tanaka gathers the entire dojo, beginners, intermediates, black belts. He stands beside the Ironwood Board, which has been moved to the main floor for the event. Tradition, he begins, his voice carrying across the silent room, is what separates this dojo from others. For 37 years, no student has broken the ironwood. Many have tried, all have failed. He pauses, letting the weight of history settle. This year I'm offering a challenge. Any student, any rank, who breaks this board during the demonstration will earn an automatic black belt. On the spot. No test, no waiting. The room erupts in whispers. A black belt. Years of training compressed into a single moment. Maya's heartbeat thunders in her ears. Tanaka's gaze sweeps the room and stops on her. Deliberate. His lips curve into something that isn't quite a smile. As she walks past him toward the locker room, he leans close. Don't embarrass yourself again, he whispers. His breath is cold against her ear. Maya doesn't respond. She doesn't flinch. She keeps walking. But inside something ignites, a quiet, patient fire that's been building since the day she couldn't break the thin board. The demonstration is in 7 days. The ironwood has stood unbroken for 37 years. Maya intends to change that. Maya's apartment is silent except for the rhythmic thud of her fist against the rolled towel hung on her bedroom wall. Thud, breathe, thud, breathe. Her knuckles are raw, skin broken in 3 places, but she doesn't stop. It's 2 a.m. The demonstration is in 6 days. The Ironwood board plays on loop in her mind. Its dark grain, its impossible density, 37 years of failure embedded in its wood. Her door opens. Her mother stands in the hallway, still wearing her hospital scrubs, exhaustion carved into her face. She doesn't speak. She crosses the room, takes Maya's bleeding hands in hers, and wraps them carefully with gauze from her work bag. "You don't have to prove anything," her mother whispers. Maya's throat tightens. "Yes, I do. Because this isn't about the board anymore. It's about every dismissive glance, every time someone looked at her and saw nothing worth acknowledging. It's about the thin practice board, the laughter, Tanaka's whisper, 'Don't embarrass yourself again.'" Her mother ties off the gauze and cups Maya's face. "Your father would say you're already strong enough." "Then why doesn't anyone else see it?" Maya's voice cracks. Her mother has no answer. She kisses Maya's forehead and leaves the room. Maya sits on her bed, hands wrapped in white bandages, staring at the folded flag on her dresser. The Ironwood has broken everyone who tried. Maybe it will break her too, but she has to try, because invisibility is its own kind of breaking, slow and silent and permanent. And Maya is done being invisible. Sunday morning, Maya cleans out her father's storage box, the one her mother keeps in the hall closet, untouched for 5 years. Inside are his old combat manuals, faded photographs, a Purple Heart medal, and a worn notebook with his handwriting. She flips through the pages. Notes on technique, training schedules, philosophy. Then she finds it, a passage circled in red ink, underlined twice. "Power comes from stillness. The strike is just the echo of something that already happened in your mind. See the break before contact. Believe the board is already broken. Your body will follow your belief." Maya reads it 3 times. Then she closes the notebook and begins. She practices differently now. Not harder, smarter. She revisits every lesson her father taught her before he deployed. Rooting. The way weight transfers through the legs, up the spine, into the striking hand. Breathing. How the exhale times with impact, focusing energy into a single point. Visualization. Closing her eyes and seeing the ironwood shatter frame by frame. She trains on progressively harder materials. First, the practice boards from the dojo, then 2 boards stacked together, then a cinder block wrapped in towels. Each time she doesn't rush. She roots, breathes, visualizes, strikes. The cinder block cracks on her 4th attempt. By Wednesday, her technique has transformed. Her strikes are quieter now, no wasted motion, no telegraphing. Just stillness, then explosion. Her mother watches from the doorway one evening as Maya breaks a double-stacked board clean through. "That's new," her mother says softly. Maya nods. "That's ready." She sleeps that night with her father's notebook under her pillow. In her dreams, she stands before the ironwood. She breathes. She strikes. It shatters like glass. When she wakes, her hands no longer hurt. The bruises have faded to yellow. Her knuckles are calloused but strong. The demonstration is in 2 days. She's ready. Saturday arrives bright and cold. River Stone Dojo is packed, students in white gis, parents in folding chairs, judges from the Regional Karate Association seated at a long table. The Ironwood board stands center stage, mounted on a reinforced frame, spotlit like a monument. Sensei Tanaka takes the microphone. His voice fills the room. "For 37 years, this board has stood unbroken. Ironwood, one of the densest hardwoods on earth, 2 inches thick, reinforced edges. Legends have tried, masters have failed. Today, we honor tradition by offering one student the chance to become legend." The crowd murmurs. Cameras flash. Tanaka gestures to the board. "Any challenger may attempt. Success earns an immediate black belt and a place in this dojo's history." Silence. No one moves. The advanced students shift uncomfortably. The black belts stare at the floor. Everyone knows the Ironwood's reputation. Attempting it publicly means risking public failure. 30 seconds pass, then Maya stands. The room turns. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Tanaka's expression hardens. He hadn't expected this. "Miss Martinez," he says slowly, "are you certain?" "Yes, Sensei. This is not a practice board if you fail." "I understand." Tanaka's jaw tightens, but he can't refuse, not in front of the judges. He gestures toward the board. "Proceed." Maya walks to the center of the floor. Her reflection stares back from the polished ironwood, a dark-skinned girl in a white gi, small against the weight of history. The crowd falls silent. Even the judges lean forward. She doesn't rush. She positions herself feet shoulder width apart, breathes, roots her weight deep into the floor. Her father's voice rises, see the break before contact. She closes her eyes, visualizes the grain splitting, the wood surrendering, the sound of thunder. When she opens them, the board is already broken. Her body just has to catch up. She exhales, chambers her hand, and strikes. The sound is a cannon blast. The ironwood explodes, not cracks, not splinters, explodes into fragments that scatter across the floor like shrapnel. The reinforced frame shudders. The spotlight flickers. For 3 seconds, no one breathes. Then the dojo erupts. Students leap to their feet. Parents shout. The judges stand, mouths open, staring at the shattered remains of the ironwood board. Cameras flash in rapid succession. Maya stands still, hand extended, breathing steady. She doesn't smile, doesn't celebrate. She simply lowers her hand and turns to face Tanaka. His face is pale. His eyes are wide with something between shock and fury. He opens his mouth, but no words come. The head judge approaches the wreckage, kneels, examines the break. He picks up a fragment, turns it over, then looks at Maya. Clean break, he announces. Center mass, textbook execution. He stands. Black belt candidate, effective immediately. The crowd roars. Students surge forward, surrounding Maya, voices overlapping. How did you do that? That was incredible. No one's ever. Maya doesn't hear them. She's watching Tanaka. He stands alone by the wall, arms crossed, jaw clenched. Their eyes meet across the chaos. He doesn't nod, doesn't acknowledge her, but something in his expression shifts, a grudging recognition buried beneath pride. Maya bows, not to him, to the board, to her father, to herself. Monday morning, the dojo feels different. Word has spread. Local news ran a story. Teen breaks 37-year record at historic dojo. Maya's phone is flooded with messages from classmates she's never spoken to. The senior students greet her by name now. Tanaka is different too. He doesn't apologize, that's not his way. But during class, he corrects her form with the same attention he gives his black belts. When she executes a kata, he watches closely, nods once. Better, he says, just that. But it's enough. After class, the head judge returns to present Maya with her black belt certificate. The students gather to watch. Tanaka ties the belt around her waist himself. Protocol demands it. His hands are steady, his expression neutral. But when he steps back, he meets her eyes. You earned this, he says quietly. Then louder for the room, she earned this. Applause fills the dojo. Maya bows. The belt feels heavy around her waist, not with pressure but with purpose. That evening, she brings a fragment of the shattered ironwood home. Her mother is in the kitchen making dinner. Maya places the wood on the shelf beside her father's folded flag, next to his purple heart, next to the photograph of him in uniform. Her mother appears in the doorway, dish towel in hand. She sees the wood, the belt, her daughter's calloused hands. Tears fill her eyes. He'd be so proud, she whispers. I know, Maya says, and this time she believes it. She doesn't need Tanaka's approval anymore, doesn't need the other students' admiration. She's proven what she needed to prove, not to them but to herself. The board was never unbreakable. It just hadn't met someone patient enough to see through it. 3 months later, Maya teaches the beginner class. A new student arrives, a quiet boy with thick glasses and trembling hands. During the strength assessment, he can't break the practice board. The other students shift uncomfortably. Someone snickers. Maya steps forward. She kneels beside the boy, speaks softly. The board doesn't measure your strength, it measures your belief. Do you believe you can break it? The boy looks up, eyes wide. I don't know. Then let me show you. She takes his hands, adjusts his stance, teaches him to breathe. Strength isn't loud, she says, echoing her father's words. It's patient. He strikes again. The board cracks, not clean but enough. His face lights up. The class applauds. No one laughs. That night, Maya sits in her room, black belt folded beside her father's notebook. She thinks about the thin practice board Tanaka gave her. The laughter, the whisper, don't embarrass yourself. She thinks about the ironwood, 37 years of history shattered in a single moment. Not because she was stronger than everyone else, but because she refused to accept that some things are impossible. Strength isn't given. It's not inherited or bestowed. It's forged in silence, in the hours when no one's watching, when failure is private and progress is measured in bruised knuckles and broken boards. It's showing up when the world expects you to disappear. It's believing the impossible is already broken. Your hands just have to catch up. Maya closes her eyes. Somewhere in the space between memory and presence, her father's voice echoes one last time. You don't break things by forcing them, Maya. You break them by believing they're already broken. She smiles, opens her eyes, and begins planning tomorrow's training. Strength isn't given. It's forged in silence and proven when it matters most.